All right, Shalom. This is the Brothers of GMS New Orleans coming at you with another lesson. But before we get started, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors
To
to
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahashim,
Bahashim,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Bahashim,
Bahashim,
Rakadash.
Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers enduring to the end, and to the few sincere Aqua diligently learning in silence. Shalom. And hey, with this lesson, as the title is, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. You got this whole situation going on with Venezuela, to where the cover story is we're trying to stop the cartels and drugs getting into the U.S. when the U.S. is the biggest drug users and the drug pushers out there. This country and the government, these different corporations are heavily intertwined with the drug trade. You got shows like Snowfall, Narcos, all that. Which just goes to show the history of America and the drug trade.
Yeah, Sicarios.
So, of course, Scarface, all that. But the reason, as it always has been with Esau, is what resources. Venezuela's rich in oil, especially, and other things, and Esau wants a piece of it, especially since Venezuela is in the U.S.'s background, and of course Venezuela is close allies with Russia. So like with every other war that's been in the past, Esau comes with the cover story, but at the end of the day, he goes for what he knows with his blessing, which is what we're going to start off with.
Yeah, this is Genesis 27:39. It says, "And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling should be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above."
We can see these Edomites are currently in the power seat right now, at the head of, every major resource trade. You've got an Edomite involved, especially an Amalekite or a small hat. But as it's about to go into the next verse, how did Esau gain control of the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven? It wasn't through diplomacy.
Right. And it goes on to say, it says, "And by thy sword thou shalt live, and thou shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt that thou shalt break the yoke from off thy neck."
So that's the key point. And by thy sword shalt thou live, which is what he gained the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from. And just let's just look at a few examples. With Iraq, they had oil. Saddam Hussein wanted to get off that petrodollar system and move towards a euro. What happened? Labeled a sponsor of terrorism, abuser of human rights, got overthrown. Gaddafi, Libya, rich in oil, and what he wanted to create a gold back African currency, a dinar, to get out of that U.S. system. What happened? Abuser of human rights taken out. And even during Donald Trump's first presidency, he tried to take out Nicolas Maduro. Labeling him the same thing. Oh, he's a dictator. He doesn't believe in free elections, though. Maduro was elected by his own people into office. And so what? We got to take him out and have this one guy become the new leader. Which, when you always look into these leaders that Esau is pushing, they're just a puppet of the West. This is Esau's MO. And now that the little things haven't been working, hey, Esau goes for what he knows. That sword.
I got this right here. This is Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. It says, "And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that set upon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword."
Kind, and we know in the scriptures horses can represent power, and what red signifies Esau's color, because in Genesis 25 it said what the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and as we just read in Genesis 27, and by thy sword shalt thou live. So again, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And look at Esau's rulership, ever since he came into this little season of his final rulership with the Renaissance. Things have just gotten progressively worse. The people have gotten worse, the environment has gotten worse, and we're on the brink of a World War III where nuclear weapons are going to be used because Esau was only ever created to be the wicked and the sword of the Lord. How can you expect to go fishing with a hammer? Esau was created to be the sword, so his actions are going to reflect that.
I got one real fast.
Kind
It
of.
shows he took peace from the earth. 'Cause you always have to go back to the origin of things, or when the start was. All right. This is First Maccabees 1:7 says, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servant to bear rule, everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them, many years, and evils, all right, multiplied in the earth.
And when you go into the history of Alexander and his four generals, what was it? Just conquest, taking lands and doing the same thing Esau does now. And then, after his death, his generals put crowns upon their heads, and then they went to having infighting with each other. And then we saw how they treated the Israelites. You either convert to the Greek way of life, or we'll put you to death. And even though Maduro is a small hat from my understanding, those Venezuelans are Israelites of the Northern Kingdom. And what? Ultimately, they want to get, Venezuela on board with the SWIFT and the Western system using that dollar. And since they don't want to go along, what are you seeing? Oh, he's a dictator, or oh, they're pushing drugs. That's leading to the deaths of innocent Americans. So we got to go take this guy out. I just saw from a video Elder Apostle Tahar did. He was going into a clip from Dabu 7 saying that apparently there was a grid down situation over in Venezuela, which we already know who's behind that. And then a brother posted in our chat that they say it was a drug trafficker boat, but who knows? It got hit with a drone. So Esau's, already, flexing his muscles and showing those talons. But again, going back to the premise, this is all that Esau knows. Though you might have to get that Psalms 55. I think it's 55 and 21. Though his words were smoother than butter.
I got it.
Kind
This is Psalm 55:21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
Mm-hmm.
His words were softer than oils, yet were there drawn swords.
And that's always the case with Esau. It always seems like this humanitarian cause. Oh, he's a dictator. He abuses his people. He sends them to concentration camps. Women don't have rights. Alphabet people don't have rights. We got to go in there and bring democracy. But then after Esau goes in there and, just runs roughshod on that country and sets up a puppet, hey, that country is always much worse off than what it was before. Just look at Iraq, for instance. Yeah, Saddam Hussein, who was a strongman leader, but everything was in order. But after they took him out, what do you see right now? That whole, Iraq's in chaos. You had ISIS running around, which at the same time, a lot of that is a CIA, mercenary group for the U.S. and those small hats. It's just complete chaos over there.
I seen they had an earthquake or some shit over there yesterday, and they saying they have a Taliban help department helping the people. I'm like, but y'all just said these people were, the T people. All of a sudden now they bringing humanitarian aid over there for earthquake and shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's the things that Esau slips up and comes out with. Ultimately, he's become sloppy, man.
Mm-hmm.
I got one real fast for you too.
Time.
Now that I think about it, this is Proverbs 29:16. It says, when the wicked are multiplied, transgressions increase it, but the righteous shall see their fall.
Hey, when the wicked are multiplied, transgressions increase. And as the brother just read in that First Maccabees 1:9, after Alexander's death and his generals put crowns upon their heads and their sons did the same, evils were multiplied in the earth. Whenever Esau gets into power, wickedness follows. And I mean, we can look at the mess Esau's made of the world, but just look at the mess of your average everyday American citizen. Broke, working 2 or 3 jobs, the family structure's broken up. men and women damn near hate each other at this point. It's just a complete shit show. But hey, that's what happens when a servant is in rulership. It says in Ecclesiastes, chapter 10, vanity, no, folly is set in great dignity. And I have seen servants riding upon horses in the power position and princes walking upon the earth. The only true rulers of this planet, the rightful rulers are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the children of Israel. But because of our transgression, we're under this punishment right now. So in order to show us, just how bad of a job we did, and when we're back in power, how good of a job we're going to do, the Most High set up the basest of men to show what a complete, wicked, backwards rulership looks like.
I'm gonna get him one of my favorites too.
Kind.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one of my favorites to go with what you're saying. This is Proverbs chapter 19, verse 10. All right. And it says, delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes.
Straight to the point. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to rule over princes. We're dealing with a guy who poisons the air he has to breathe, poisons the environment and the water he has to drink. And these elites, look at what they do to their own people. So if he's willing, if him that is a niggard to himself,
what can he do good?
Him that is wicked to himself, what good can you expect to come from him? Esau throws his own people under the bus just to get at you Israelites, which is just.
I'm gonna say this too.
Okay.
He messes over his own people. That's why when you go in every major city throughout America, every small town, all right, you got homeless Edomites, man. All right, you got Edomites that every day they go to the Salvation Armies, they go to these food banks, and they try to get food and shit, man, get help. All right, but yet they're ruling. All right, they're in power, but yet all their people they struggling too, man. These backwood hicks out there in these trailer parks all throughout Virginia, them racist ass Edomites, they're on the bottom, man. They're the lords of the low. All right, because I'm gonna say this too. A lot of you backwood hick Cajun Creole motherfuckers be thinking these Edomites that in power includes you or you up there with Trump. Them people ain't talking about you, man. All right, you the people that's on the bottom. All right, you gonna find out the hard way too when he come down, because this devil finna come down on your ass too, man. Mm-hmm. You all you Americans, you proud patriots out there. This government finna come down on you hard on your heads, man. All right. Let alone Jake. Jake, you gonna find out too. All right. How much this devil hates you. That's why he's putting up and setting up right now in 19 different cities. All right, troops. All right. And they're exploring and looking to other cities to come in. All right. The next thing you know, you're gonna be besieged, Jake. All right.
And
I want to say one thing too, because it's funny. They make this big thing about the migrants over here, but what about all these goddamn Ukrainians you let up in here too? All these goddamn South Africans, from these different people from Sudan, all that shit that happened over there. Remember the big plane was flying off the runway, and all them Arabs, when they left all the equipment over there, a lot of them came over here too. What about them? All these damn Russians and shit you let up in here, man.
Chinese
up in here, but you don't have nothing to say about that. And you let a lot of Venezuelans up in here, because a lot of them Venezuelans were trained by the Russians, man. Which we know you let these sleeper cells in here to do their job, man. All right. That's why you was fucking with Venezuela. That's why you was fucking with Hondurans. A lot of Hondurans getting up here, because a lot of them are soldiers. All right. Military age men that come over here and do your bidding, like the scripture says. The caterpillar should eat you up, man. All right, we can see it. We know what's going on, but things just got to play out that way. All right, go ahead.
Hey, that's another example of the words of his mouth were soft as oil and sweeter than butter, but war was in his heart. With this whole political system, which if you think your vote matters at this point, you're already a dead man. You had Biden let in all these Venezuelans and all these Central and South Americans. They were saying, Maduro emptied out his prisons and let them over here, which, that happened in a lot of cases. But then what? Here comes Donald Trump saying, I'm going to handle the situation. I'm going to deport them and make America great again. But what's it leading to? These National Guard troops getting deployed to these different cities, and us getting closer and closer to martial law in a police state getting instituted to further take away your rights and put that boot on the back of you Americans' necks.
That's right, man.
But I had a quick one, just to because you got these busted and disgusted Edomites that really fell for the okie doke that Trump was going to save them just because of your immense hatred towards these Israelites. But you're going to find out that you're just a red nigger. That's what you always been. But this is a Sirach 14:5. He that is evil to himself, you abuse your own people, you pollute the environment you got to live in. To whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods.
You hear that? Whom? When they say whom should he be good?
He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good?
He won't be good to nobody, man. The man abuses his own self, man. Like the brother went to, this devil pollutes the water. He puts fluoride in every goddamn thing. He puts barium, different metals in these different planes that they fly over these major cities to weaken your systems.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All the food is poison. Everything, man. I'm gonna get around. I'm gonna become a vegan. I'm gonna become I'm gonna eat this, eat that. All this shit is tainted, man. Yeah. Everything. When you look on most of the shit, it say buy it, injure, near. All right.
Food ingredients in it.
Yeah.
And one thing I've noticed, which this because I'll say this, I've been trying to not going full vegan or anything, but just cutting back on my meat consumption because these meats are full of hormones, and at this point, who even knows if it's real meat you're eating? But when you go and look at the ingredients of these, vegan products filled with vegetable oil, sunflower oil, canola oil,
and Apostle Bob went into that yesterday. That's what really jacked you up, man.
Mm-hmm.
Clog your arteries, do all type of things to your system, man. All right, you gotta really, if we claiming to be those people, man, we gotta find ways. You gotta be your own. You gotta be your own DR, man. All right. You know what I'm talking about. You got to be your own DR. You got to find ways to, at least try to find some type of way to get around this dude the best way you can, man. You got to stay out them goddamn, what's the best way I can say it?
Help centers.
Them help centers, man. Them occulted temples, man. That's all it is. Right? The place where you have the ambulance and a bunch of white coats at. You got to stay your ass out of those places, man. All right? Because even now they're trying to bring the C-19 back. All right, you go up in there for something wrong with you, minor scrape on the knee, you might not leave out, man. Okay, So you got to find ways. That's why we deal with the herbs. We deal with the tinctures, the minerals. All right, things that our bodies, all right, truly need. But go ahead,
This is a Sirach 10:9. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man.
Who the most covetous man on the planet Earth today? The so-called white man. If he bring down his researchers to your islands, to your cities, to your towns and countries, and he find out that they have lithium there, he find out they has oil, he find out they have some newfound metal. All right, a mineral that he can benefit off. What he gonna do? He's gonna he's gonna give you a proposition. All right, or he might just muscle you out the way. All right, or take you out and take that shit, man. All right, how you think America was brought by? It was brought by murder, man. Death, smallpox. All right, this devil muscled the Native Americans out of their basically at home. They was here first. Okay, go ahead.
There's not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such an one setteth his own soul to sale.
Yeah. and like I said, you truly go through the different stories throughout America in these different towns. A lot of these cities, It was many Black Wall Streets, but what happened? They got taken down, man. They got flooded. All right, this devil opened up dams and flooded the like Lake Lanier out there in Georgia. He flooded the whole goddamn town. Look at this shit here. They're making a 20-year anniversary for Katrina. All right, and different documentaries they profiting off this shit, but they're telling you, yeah, we blew that shit up, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Trump was going to put a Trump Tower down here. He was trying to buy most of the Ninth Ward, and all of a sudden the Ninth Ward is the most the most place that was hit the hardest. It's all about money for them, gain. All right. They want to make this. They already said on one of the documentaries I watched, they wanted to make this the Vegas of the South, and that means you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans that live here have to go by any means. They was trying to kill your asses, man. All right. You know, I was in high school then. You know, that was my senior year of high school. They were trying to kill your ass. And I can go into other things that, you know, people I know that saw and witnessed. All right, but that's for another day. Go ahead,
Khan. But again, for such an one setteth his own soul to sell, like we were just saying, you know, Esau is willing to throw his own people under the bus just for a better, you know, percentage.
Just for gain.
That's all. That's as far as Esau minds go. Would you got to get that Habakkuk too? You know, his desire is as hell. Here you have the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven, but now this guy, you know, you would think, okay, I got America set up. I got these nations, you know, happy to use the US dollar, but what? I want more. You got some resources I want. I'm a label you as a dictator, a demon, whatever, and go take your shit. And now this man wants to put a C-hip in you. He wants to be able to read your thoughts, to have complete control over you. If he could, he would want to own your very soul. That's the demon we're dealing with. So again, you know, he that is wicked to him, his own self, to who shall he do good to? Esau Edom is on a death ride to destroy himself. So anybody else trying to cling under this man or think that he's going to make things better, you're just going to go down with him. And it's as simple as that. But the silver lining to all this is while great destruction and judgment is coming, you know, things will continue.
Yeah, man.
The nation of Israel will rule in the kingdom of heaven, beginning with the elect. And as it says in Proverbs 29:2, when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. But when the righteous are in authority, the people will rejoice, because this earth will finally see peace. But until then, hey, buckle up, because it's about to get a hell of a lot bloodier going forward.
Yeah, I can go into. You want me to start at the top?
If you want to.
This Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1, it says, I will stand upon my watch and set upon the tower and watch to see what he shall say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved.
And that's what the men of the Lord are doing, you know, with these video epistles, going out onto the highways and byways, you know, looking at current events and filtering it through the scriptures too, as it's about to say in the next verse.
It says, verse 2, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it.
And we're writing the vision down right now, you know, again, with these video epistles, going out and prophesying, so that he may run that readeth it. You know, the elect hear these words and what they get themselves in order with what Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai wants, because they can see that great judgment is coming down the pipeline, and that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to be the only thing to make it through these things. Because if you want to go down to Egypt for help and go under the shadow of Pharaoh, as it says in Isaiah 30, that's ultimately going to be your shame. And as it says in Isaiah 31, you know, to those that want to cling unto Egypt, both he that helpeth and he that hopeth falleth. So those that uphold the system and those that cling unto and want to keep it running, everybody's going down.
Right. And it says, verse 3, it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it would not tarry.
And we can see that with the times we're living in, these visions and prophecies are no longer tarrying. You're hearing more and more about cashless digital societies in the news, you know, Neuralink, C-hips,
AI.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
wars, World War III, nuclear war, and the draft, whenever things flare up, are all the things that are trending out there. So that is in the mindset of the people. everything from our apostles and elders, on down have been preaching for the last, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And we're at that time to where all these things are about to come to their fulfillment.
Yeah, it's here, man. Like we always say, as we go on the block plenty of times, a lot of times on these videos that we make, you can literally see that the Bible, the people in the Bible are matching up to where the prophecies are jumping off the page, man, through men, through blood and flesh people, man. All right. And then everything is lining up to that the Lord, making the word of the Lord true, man. All right. These nations are ready to go to war. All right. You have soldiers coming out now, mainly the guy by the name of Nick Ivan. He just recently did an interview, I believe, on Vlad. He said what's going to happen is American soldiers are going to find out they're going to go their ass to war with China. They're going to go their ass to war with Russia and going to be outgunned. All right. He said we can't fuck with them, man. And this is the guy that did multiple tours. He's a decorated sniper in the army, right? And they killed, I think, when his first week of tour, he killed it was more, but he said about 33 men.
Yeah, he was an elite Army Ranger.
Right.
But, you got the Army, you got the Rangers, which is like
far superior than the regular one. Because the Army, a lot of you guys in the Army, man, y'all just dodo birds, man. Y'all
cannon fodder.
Yeah. Y'all just pawns on the table that they use to just, all right, soften the blow for the real soldiers that they got, man.
And you got to think, like, with these wars America's been fighting for the last 20 years, it's just been bush wars. It's been fighting against, peasants, poor people, the AQs or the T's, the Taliban. They've been fighting against some hardened warriors, but what? They didn't have an air force. They didn't have drones. They didn't have tanks. So what do you think is going to happen when America goes against a peer-to-peer adversary, especially one that for the last couple of years has been fighting a World War II style war like with Russia?
And that's what the dude Nick Ivan brought up. He said, man, I looked into the interview with Sarah Adams, and they brought up how he said America's already outgunned based on its Navy. All right, he said each year they only make 5 ships. They only can produce 5 commercial warships, while China is making fucking damn near 5,000 to 10,000 a year. You can't fuck with it, man. I believe Russia has the most tanks out of all the armies on the planet, man.
They're in a war economy now, to where the majority of their production is going towards what? A war, war and war related things. So they've got the infrastructure set up to just push that shit out there.
What you said earlier when we were talking before the video, you like, but America, y'all worried about dumb shit. Y'all worried about
the X Factor, Dancing with the Stars, the bunch of reality TV bullshit. And now what are we coming into? Football season.
That is, yeah. So you niggas is totally gonna be gone talking about your team, the Cowboys, and all this other shit, man.
Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Meanwhile, all right, troops around the world gearing up. They got war and killing on their goddamn minds. You niggas around here worrying about bullshit,
Yeah, Russia, and the war ain't even over yet. Russia has been involved in a war where about 1.8 million Ukrainian soldiers have got sent back to the spirit world. That's the type of battle-hardened force, your American soldiers about to go against. And then even when you go on TikTok, you got a bunch of Gen Z, which would be, the majority fighting, saying, look, I got better things to do than to go fight a war.
Yeah, but on the shores of America in these major cities, they badasses though, man. Go your ass over there and fight. Go fight another Marty man, and get it on. Because a lot of you guys, we tell you, a lot of you guys don't get drafted. A lot of you women out there don't get drafted. You're not gonna come home, man. All right, that's gonna be your last stop over there in the Middle East. All right, and like I said, you're gonna get caught up in that thing. World War III is we basically in World War III, man, as you might well say. All right, all the proxy wars, getting rebels and different other people to fight for you, do different assassination attempts for you. That's over with. Now it's time to. Because I'm gonna say this too. That thing that's going on in Ukraine, it ain't gonna stop, man. As you can see, they've been trying to get these guys to talk for over 2 months now. And while they talking, they're actually sending missiles over there to the other person's spots, man.
Because those Russian Edomites know you Western American and European Edomites are full of shit. They understand what, because they're Edomites themselves, that what, when those words are smooth as butter and soft as oil, that war is really in their heart. So they're going to keep doing what they're doing. You got North Korean troops over there gaining experience. You got Chinese troops over there gaining experience. That's a laboratory of gaining experience. So when they finally come against you, average American soldiers, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, then I looked into some shit with the army. A lot of you guys, y'all not fit no more. You're fat. You got big stomachs and shit, and you're military troops now.
You're moist.
Yeah, you're soft as hell. All right, you got all type of other underlying issues with you. A lot of you guys are thrown off. Which the police forces and a lot of the military forces, they perfectly look for guys that are thrown off, man.
That got a low IQ.
Yeah,
you can look that up.
Yeah, that's on record too. All right, we didn't look that up, man. That's on record. They purposely get you guys, man. They purposely put a lot of the Navy, Army, and Marines places by McDonald's and places that throwed off Jakes be at, man.
Low income neighborhoods
and Edomite neighborhoods, and they go and recruit your ass, man. Offer you niggas them 20,000, you think 20,000? Oh my God, I can go buy a Mustang, man. I can go buy a Ford Mustang. I'd be be on top. Meanwhile, this nigga throw it off, man. He's a good one. That's what we want. Because really, the Army, only branch that really tests you mentally is the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Air Force and Navy.
That, like the Air Force, ain't just letting anybody in there. Like you actually got to be on a level.
Yeah, that's right, brother. Yeah, you had something?
Kind of. Yeah, we probably just read down to verse 7 and.
Okay, that's cool.
We're at verse 4.
It's like I had close it. I can get it right here though.
Because Habakkuk chapter 2 is one of my favorite chapters because it goes into the mindset of you Edomites and how you get down and what the backlash for it's going to be. And we're seeing it play out in real time.
Okay. Let's see. So like that.
Kind. Yes, it's a very exciting times we're living in because though we're coming into times of great wars and tears and judgment, that means that the kingdom is right around the corner. So no more having to worry about a 9 to 5, all this other bullshit. We're at this point we're really just what am I looking? Really just biding time until these prophecies come to pass.
Right. Where I stopped at?
We're at verse 4.
Yeah, it says, for behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. It says, but the just shall live by his faith.
Hey, the wicked are estranged from the womb. Who could make that straight which the Most High has made crooked? You Edomites are wicked from the womb, and you're just going to do what you were programmed to do. But as I said, but the just shall live by his faith, which is what the elect are doing right now. We have faith that though these things are going to get bad, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah is going to get us through it.
Yeah, and it goes on to say, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home.
And his wine is what? His democracy, his capitalism, his equality, feminism, alphabet rights. All these things he uses as a smokescreen to get down to what he really wants to do. Come and take resources and set up puppet governments.
Right. It says, yea, also because he is a proud, my bad. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home, who enlarged his desire as hell, and is as debt. All right, and cannot be satisfied. But gathered unto him all nations, and heap it up to him all people.
What does that sound like? Getting people under this Western mindset, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, the SWIFT system, and that US dollar, even though we know they're transitioning to the next system, the MOTB NWO. But what? He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. What are you doing in America, all the way over in Iraq, all the way over in Afghanistan and Vietnam and Venezuela, halfway across the world when you got issues at home? It's because what? Your desire is as hell and as death and cannot be satisfied. And as we read in Sirach, there's nothing more wicked than a covetous man. You just want to gain everything unto yourself, and still it's not enough. You want people's very souls. You want to put that C hip in them and be able to read their minds. Read down to verse 7.
Yeah, I won't get one. But go ahead. It says, verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? All right. It says, into him that laded himself in thick clay.
And when you go into that word claim, the Strong's is aptit, which means debts and heavy pledges. And we're seeing these nations take up a proverb against you Edomites, chiefly in the West and especially America. How long, shall you take that which is not yours? Calling you a colonizer. You saying, look, you threw over these sovereign governments to set up puppets, which led that country into a worse system. And what? You put everybody under this US dollar system to where, they get heavily laden in debt to where they can't, pay back, that debt. So then they have to sell off natural resources and assets in their country to you. These nations are getting sick of it. Hence why you're seeing a rise in the BRICS. These nations looking for an alternative economic system. But, as Gerald Celente always said, I think first you have economic wars, then hot wars. These nations are in that economic stage right now where they're trying to avoid war, but they're starting to see that, look, there's no reasoning with America. There's no reasoning with these Western European countries. So, hey, eventually it's going to get to going to war. So that's why they're preparing themselves to do so.
Like that scene from the inside the car on the Terminator. And he was like, it's not going to stop until, let's say something, remember? It's like he was describing, I guess it was the liquid cop or the Terminator. Like, he's not going to stop until you dead.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't feel pity. He doesn't feel remorse. He will not stop until you are dead.
Yeah, and that's America, man, to the nations. All right. And the nations are waking up to that. That's why the nations have basically what you see is everybody that chose a side against this whore, man. All right. Rejecting that dollar. Ultimately, it's going to get physical, man. Okay. These nations are going to gang up on America and get rid of this whore, man. According to the Bible. All right. I'm going to say that too.
God.
What you want me to stop at 7?
Yeah, we can end off at 7.
It says, shall not. My bad. Let me read that part again. That little part. It says, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that laded himself in thick clay. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them?
Hey, these nations are gearing up to eventually go to war against you. And we know the end all be all is when those nuclear missiles get shot on this place. And that's going to be all she wrote for America.
That's right, man. You can get us out of here.
Kind of. And so with that, we hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified by this lesson. And again, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Bakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim and Akwath out there. Shalom.
Shalom.